Welcome to this week's episode of Spotlight Grenada, right here on Lexan Digital Media. Now, this week's episode, I get to celebrate two women who have contributed and continue to contribute to Grenada's artistic and creative scene. With me today, Stacy Baer and Amanda John. I have two remarkable women on the show today. And the first is Amanda John. Amanda wears so many hats, but today she's going to wear the hat of filmmaker, film producer extraordinaire. Welcome, Amanda. How are you doing?
Thank you, Lexan. Thanks for having me. I'm doing good.
Firstly, I got to say congratulations.
Yes.
And this is long overdue.
I know. Thank you so much.
Because we're here to talk about Forget Me Not,
yes.
A film that debuted back in 2022 and which took on a really powerful synopsis and the storyline of this film that I know has hit home for a lot of individuals, especially dealing with a loved one who suffers from the illness of dementia, including myself. This one is a real personal sort of conversation here. I had the opportunity to look at the film. I checked it out. Very deep, very thought-provoking. It really hit home for me. But congratulations. I'm so thrilled and so happy to have you here.
Yes, thank you.
So before we get into this journey of you doing all these wonderful work behind the scenes, a lot of people may remember or may not remember Amanda on camera. What was responsible for the shift from moving from in front of the camera to behind the camera and doing so many great things that you're continuing to do today?
Well, I mean, like you said, it was a long time ago on camera, the days of Grenada Broadcasting Network, as a junior reporter first and as a feature writer. But I think for me, it has always been the passion of telling the stories through the lens of the camera, and behind the scenes or behind the camera is the best perspective for me to do that. So I think it started there, that love of telling these stories, human interest stories, health stories, social topics as well. That's where it all started. So it felt natural, that transition to just, do more writing and more directing, that kind of thing.
Mr. Leo, I'm here.
And you are?
It's me, Mr. Leo. Lynn, I come here every day to see you.
Dear, what happened to you?
Me? Is you that watching me strange? Sometimes people sick, but you don't know.
Some days he doesn't even recognize me.
He's becoming more than a handful. Maybe it's time he went into a home.
Look, I'm not an invalid, you know. Look what you've done.
Have you seen Leo today?
No, what happened?
He's missing. Mr. Leo! Mr. Leo, wait!
Where are you taking me?
Was it a combination of things that would have inspired you, like knowing someone, or even just taking your career to the next level and be able to, to produce an actual film? You did reports, health-related reports, but this time it was a short film.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about, the inspiration.
Well, I mean, for me, I've always wanted to write a screenplay. Always wanted to dabble in fiction. Even if it was inspired by a true story or true events. So when the opportunity came up with the Commonwealth Foundation to do a course to learn to write screenplays, I applied, and I was selected, myself and 9 other Caribbean filmmakers from different countries, and we did this during the COVID period. So even though it was virtual, it was very intense, and we did that for a few months. Came up with a script, and they saw the potential for it to become a short film. So that's kind of the backstory of how that came into being. And then, of course, we developed it. And naturally, for me, the story was inspired because of similarly first-hand experience with seeing family, friends going through the different stages of dealing with dementia of their loved ones and of the loved ones themselves dealing with it. So that, coupled with the fact that I don't remember hearing much about dementia myself. Like, so I obviously knew what it was, but like, what didn't I know about it? You know, it is really why I think I went into that area, because I felt like if I didn't know about it, maybe a lot of people also didn't know some of the signs to look for, and just some of the ways we can just show more empathy and deal with it, with the situation generally. So that sort of sparked that that interest in that topic.
I know you had a stellar cast with you, the veterans, Miss Agatha Alexis, Mr. Robert White, Rose Bagwan, amazing talent. How did it all come together, and were there key areas that you really had to be very mindful of?
That's an interesting question, because the cast came from a theater background. Many of them, this was sort of like the first on-screen real film, you know, which required sensitivity, as you said. So it was really them taking on the roles themselves, putting their minds in the mindset of someone who's living with dementia, or as in the case of the caregiver who's caring for somebody with dementia. And that required research on their part too. So they did that. They did the research. They thought back on experiences they had. Even Robert, you know, he thought back on his own personal experience with neighbors and family friends. And in those moments, he, you know, at the table reads, he realized, oh, this is what's happening with them, and I didn't realize it before because of the script, you know. And for me, you know, tapping into also what I saw, we all just brought different elements to it as to how we could treat it most sensitively. And it wasn't really acting, it was literally living out the lives of these people on screen, you know. And I think that's why it resonates so well with the audience that watches it. Like, they could relate to it. It feels real, you know.
How important was it for you to have an
absolutely. Because I know, like you mentioned, we have so much great talent here, both behind camera and on camera. Yeah. So it was really important for me, because I knew that this film would enter some film festivals. It would go internationally. And it was really a first for a lot of us. It was a first for my screenplay. It was a first for Rose and Robert's playing these, you know, leading roles. Yeah. And first for Grenada in many respects, as it relates to entering film festivals and so on, right? Yeah. So we had to do it together. It was a collaborative project. And that's what I kept telling everybody. I said, it's not my project, this is our project. So, you know, once it goes out there, it's a reflection on all of our work together. Absolutely. So having a full Grenadian cast and crew, which is what I boast about a lot, it was that big for us, and you could see the sense of pride on their faces when they go into the cinema and they see themselves.
I know, and your name in the credits. I'm like, somebody's in here with us right now. Right. I saw his name on the credits.
Names. But you know, it's like you feel great, you know, and you're like, wow, this is awesome, you know, and I got to be part of this experience.
Yes. The film festivals.
Yeah.
So I think I recall 2, Trinidad and Tobago, and also Belize.
Yes. Yeah. And Grenada. Well, and Grenada was the first one.
Yes, because that would have kicked off in 2022.
Right.
Explain the feeling. I mean, you just said there's everything filled with pride, but you traveled to Trinidad, and also. So
Robert and Rose accompanied us. So I didn't know that they were going to be able to make it, because, you know, different obligations they both had. And I said, hey guys, this is the first time a Grenadian film will be screened at a Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival, which has been running for more than 20 years. And they were like, we come in, you know? Yeah, they were very excited. So they came, and we went into the cinema, and people clapped, you know. It wasn't a large crowd, but you could sense that they saw the talent, and they resonated with the message of the film. And they got to meet them and other directors, and, you know, networking happened.
That networking is so crucial, yeah.
So that was really good for them, really good for me to see and be a part of as well, you know. And likewise the Belize Film Festival, which was I wish I could have been there in person, but I did join them virtually because they actually had a call back for the film for a second screening in a virtual format because there were many people that wanted to see it that couldn't. I think there was bad weather on the day, and so a few people came out, but not a lot. So they had a request from some organizations actually in Belize. Can we see this again? Can you organize it with the filmmaker? So I said yes, of course. This is great. And that pulled a nice crowd. I think there were close to 40 or 50 people on there from around the world, different countries, maybe about 7 or 8 different countries. Some from the Caribbean Association of Alzheimer's and all over. Awesome. So it was nice to hear their feedback. And like you said, they saw so much potential for it to be used as an awareness tool.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And from hearing that from people who, like you said, live or deal with it on a daily basis was good. It meant that we were spot on with that intention.
I spotted certain scenes in your film that resonated so powerfully with me because I went through that with my father. The conversation is so important. How do you hope that your film would continue, will continue to raise awareness and to spark more conversation? What do you want to see happen as a result of that and the result of just being in the know? Right. Because I think that's the most important thing. It is an educational vehicle. And how can you push more? What do you hope?
But I think for me it's twofold because the film itself, as you said, being used as an awareness tool, shown in different environments, to children, to elderly people themselves, because they may not understand half the time what is happening. So also, that conversation online, social media, people sharing their stories, people have been sending me their stories personally and, privately, and saying how much they appreciate what that did for them, because a lot of them felt guilt as well. Like they thought that they were not being the relative that was looking out for them in the right way. They felt guilty about certain things, but then they realized it really wasn't them, so they had some sort of closure. Right? So it's a lot of different things, but as well, it is a testament to how we can use this creative visual medium to tell these sorts of stories. You don't have to do a documentary and list the signs and symptoms, but when you humanize it, right? So you tell it from the point of view of the person living with the disease, then you're able actually to reach more people in a more personal way, using all the different elements, light and sound, etc. So for me, it's like, how can we do more of that? How can we use this medium to maybe promote more awareness about public health issues generally? So I'm hoping that those conversations come out. Support from the people with the money come out to assist in that, and rolling out these things, because they're so important.
I am very grateful that you've done this film. I cannot stop saying it, and I will keep pushing it. I'd love to push it on Lexan Digital Media as well. Once you do all your rounds and all your promotions and all of that, it'll be fantastic. 2 things finally, Amanda, before we wrap up. Your advice to aspiring filmmakers on the island, key things to remember, key things to pay particular attention to, what's going to get them to the next level.
I would always say, just be aware. Whatever you feel, whatever is your experience, you can share it in this format. It doesn't have to be an outside story, because we have so much stories here to tell already, and a lot of the best stories come from our own experiences, right? So I would say, don't be afraid. It's a lot of work. Obviously, we took about 2 years to do this, the better half of 2 years. We did it through COVID, very, very trying circumstances, but
well done.
But it's worth
girl.
it, right?
Yeah.
So I would say, don't give up. Keep at it. Believe in the passion that you have, and then you would see if it's meant to be. You would see it happen.
Absolutely. Indeed. Mm-hmm. What's next for you, busybody? What's next for you? Don't tell me nothing, because I know something.
I'm just kidding.
Never. You're crazy. And then we won't have no conversations again. I don't.
If
you're at liberty to say, just give our viewers a little touch of what is possibly in store for you?
I mean, I'm driving and I'm recording stuff to myself, talking like a crazy person, because the ideas keep coming. So I'm always writing, I'm always jotting down, draft ideas. There are a couple themes that I want to, touch on. History was something I was always interested in,
awesome.
But I don't want to create a controversial film. So I think I want to do a fiction based on
on actual events.
On actual events.
Gotcha.
It's a safe place, right? But there's history. There's a few more ideas for health topics, things that we may have done before in features, but that we can adapt to film.
Yes.
And generally just things that are impactful. I mean, entertainment is great, light humor and stuff like that. But I feel like the work should live on in a meaningful way once it hits screen, So that's inspiration behind some of those ideas that I have.
Yes.
I'll keep you posted.
Keep me posted, please. And if there's anyone out there right now hoping to see the film, how can they see the film, Amanda?
Right. So for now, we don't have it online yet, digitally. But I will let you know when it is, so people can go to that streaming platform and look at it. Right now we're making our rounds in Grenada, trying to reach out to as much of our local people with this film as possible, and we have entered a few other film festivals too. So I'll keep you posted on that. But yes, it needs to get online and it needs to be seen. Well, lots of people have been asking in other countries as well, how can we see it? So.
Wonderful. And congratulations again. I know I said that about like 10 times, and that's because I've watched and admire you from afar. I know you're busy, I'm busy, we're doing our thing, but we're continuing, continue the drive and the passion that you have for those human interest stories. I tend to gravitate to those as well, and I think they're absolutely necessary, especially in these times. Blessings, my girl, and thank you again. And all the best. And anytime you need an actress for your next film, I'm just saying. And please don't typecast me, right? Don't say, hey, I got a role for you. Play the talk show host.
No. I got a special part for you.
Yeah, a special part. Amanda, pleasure as always.
Thanks,
all the best. I've been chatting with film producer Amanda John. Don't forget, we'll keep you posted on the public release of Forget Me Not, a powerful film based on the illness that a lot of folks, not just in Grenada, but everywhere worldwide is dealing with, whether you know someone, whether you don't know them. It's the illness of dementia. So be kind today. You might just see someone stumbling or slipping, and it's good to be conscious and to pay particular attention. So we'll take a short break. When we come back, I'll continue my conversation on this fantastic episode. Up next, Stacy Baer.
Hello everyone, this is Kurt Knight and you're watching Lexan Digital Media.
Welcome back. We are still here, yes, at this lovely location. Of course, in between you can hear the hustle and bustle of life on the street of Young Street right here in St. George's, Grenada. But we're back with our second segment, and I have another lovely lady, remarkable talent. We've had many conversations, and I'm so happy to have this particular conversation about what she's been up to, what's coming with a new project. I have Stacy Baer with me on set today. Welcome, Stacy.
Good to see you.
Oh my goodness, good to see you. How have you been?
Good. Very busy.
Yes. I know. And hence the reason you're here. Stacey, we're here, and of course at the National Museum, and there's something super exciting coming for the nation's children. And I hope every child from all the outer parishes included can come to this special location right here at the museum. Let's talk a little bit about the children's room right here and the whole inspiration. Why a children's room at the National Museum?
Okay. So years ago, my friend Angus Martin, who you know is a Grenadian historian, came to me and said he thinks the museum should have a children's room. And if you look at most popular museums all over the world, they carve out spaces for children because they know it's important to prioritize how children learn. So fast forward to, I think, around October, the museum reached out and invited me on board to conceptualize a room for kids. So I'm really excited to be part of a project like this because it's very necessary.
It is, it is. And what is it going to include? Because I had a little peek in there, you know, a little peek, and it is absolutely amazing. Folks, you're going to get to see it in a few minutes. Tell us what's housed in there and what's going to happen in there. Story time, etc. What's going to happen?
So the first important thing, again, like I mentioned, is that we have to have free learning spaces for children to come and be children, to create, to read, to learn. Of course, because it's a room in the museum, you will be learning about your Grenadian history and culture. We should really all know where we come from, who are our ancestors. It's a very important part of who we are as people, what is your identity. But you also learn about the world. It's a space for kids to be inspired and be curious about the world. So the room has like a storytelling area. We have a creative corner, and we have showcases, which I'm so excited to show you what's in the showcases. But it's in general a space to learn, be inspired, be a child, be free, and create, because learning through play and creativity is essential.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Parents and educators, how can parents, such as myself, get involved? I mean, my girls are pretty big, but I still envision Layla popping through from time to time. So how can we get involved? What do parents and even teachers, educators have to do in order to get involved?
So this is what we call phase one, where the room has been set up and designed, and we just had a soft opening and we facilitated some school groups. And I have to say, I'm so thrilled at the feedback. Even the teachers did not want to leave the room. You saw the teachers, you saw the inner children come out, and they wanted to come and play. So I would say at this stage, as soon as the museum announces the public opening, bring your students, bring your kids. You would have to register a time to come in because of the room capacity size. But so look out for that announcement. Follow the museum on their social media. And when you see that announcement, register and come and experience the space. And I think that will start the conversation as to how you can be more involved, because the museum definitely wants to collaborate with educators.
Exciting. You know what I want to do next, right? I would love.
Hope you come on board and do something with us.
I would love to.
Yes.
I would love to.
We need people like you. We need Grenadians
sharing,
and experts, and definitely come and share your knowledge. Come and teach a skill. You know, this is what empowers our children. Very exciting. Because we're dealing with children, its safety is number one. And, you know, there's an excellent group of team leaders who will be trained to be in the room. They want to be ready. They're in training. They're waiting to welcome the kids. So once that is done, I think we're all excited for the room to open.
So I think it's time that I get a little mini tour of the children's room. So I am here in the children's room at the Grenada National Museum, and let me tell you, it is quite exciting. It's filled with lots of organic bits. I see stools made out of mahogany. This is incredible. And then there's a mural that really celebrates Grenada's history, and I must say a fraction of it. So Stacey, let's talk about the mural.
So it was important to have mural work as part of this space, and Pintura Grenada created this lovely concept for us. It, like you said, it depicts periods of Grenadian history. Again, everything that we put in here, it should be thought-provoking. We want kids to ask questions because you want children to be curious. And this is a great way for kids to learn about their heritage and history. A fun way. We're all different learners, so art, again, is one of the best mediums. It's non-judgmental, so you could come and learn about the mural. I designed a short quiz, a fun quiz.
Woo.
Yes, we don't want a boring quiz. So if you don't know about parts of the mural, you have that information readily available. All of this is encouraging, and Grenadian children and Caribbean children should see themselves, their lifestyle, their country, their culture in art. They need to also learn about themselves. Look, we have a storytelling circle right here.
Yes.
This is a nod to our oral storytelling culture. And we have a storytelling staff.
Woohoo!
Our Crick Crack staff.
Oh my goodness.
So anyone that holds this staff, you can tell a story, but we'd also like you to share the staff. You can come in with your friends, you can write stories, you can develop your creative writing skills. The storyteller can sit here if they want with their staff and start the story, and then the next friend can add, or you could tell your story.
I must point out at the middle right here, the wire band and the story end. A lot of Caribbean children.
And we're all storytellers. We all have a story to tell, and we should own our story. And that's especially important for children to know, because that's what builds self-esteem and confidence.
Right. So Stacey, before we wrap up, I want our guys to get a close shot of the showcase. Folks, we're going to share a little bit more with you before we say adieu.
We have the History Showcase, the Carnival Showcase, and the Grenadian Toys Showcase. The History Showcase currently has artifacts from the Amerindians, which is our first indigenous people who were here in Grenada about 2,000 years ago. We talk about two of the tribes, the Kalinago and the Taino. So in the showcase, you do see actual pieces that were found here in the Caribbean. And then we have this incredible artist remake of Amerindian hut. The illustrated posters show how the indigenous people lived here. What was their lifestyle? What did they eat? How did they live? And again, we want learning to be fun, so we want children to come in and learn about the different periods of history in fun ways. The museum will be rotating the collections, so you will learn about all the different periods of Grenadian history, which means you will learn about new artifacts, and there will be activities and interactive materials that kids can learn through about the new history period in Grenada.
That's our show for today. And of course, I'm closing off here in this space that's so special for not just my children, but your children as well. It's housed right here in the Grenada National Museum, and it's going to open its doors very soon. So stay tuned for more information. It's me and the Crick Crack. Hopefully you'll see me in action right here as well, sharing stories and hearing stories. It's Lexan Digital Media. Thank you so much again to the remarkable talents that is Amanda John and Stacy Baer. Stay tuned for all updates on our YouTube channel and also our Facebook page. Have a great one and keep watching.
50 years we strong and more to come.